There's somewhere I'd like to show you, if you'll allow it.
I'd like that very much, Your Highness.
The girl would be reassigned far from here, my prince, quietly, permanently, for the realm's sake. You have until dawn, my prince. Choose carefully, for both your sakes.
They mean to send you away, Elianne. Because of the prince, I thought you should know.
The most beautiful man in the immortal world stood alone at his own engagement ceremony, surrounded by thousands, worshipped by dragons, crowned by falling stars, yet somehow, entirely and hopelessly alone. Prince Caelian stood at the center of it all, calm as still water, his sapphire eyes fixed on something far beyond the ceremony, beyond even the woman standing so close beside him. Beside him stood Lady Seris, radiant in pearl and gold, her heart full of a future she had spent her entire life preparing to deserve, never once doubting it was hers. Yet the prince's gaze kept drifting past her, toward the great palace gates, as though some quiet part of him were still waiting for someone who had not yet arrived at all.
By covenant unbroken since the first dawn, let this bond be sealed before gods and stars.
Light gathered at his wrist where the heart bond mark lived, a mark that had never once failed in 6,000 years, until, impossibly, it began to tremble instead of settle. Far from the golden ceremony, a young archivist's assistant named Elianne hurried through the narrow servant corridor, arms full, heart pounding fast, utterly unaware that history was about to notice her. Her foot caught the uneven stone, the silver tray tilted in her hands. For one breathless second, the entire fate of an ancient kingdom balanced on something as small as a slip. The tray struck the floor. Silver rang out like a bell through the silent, sacred court, and for the first time in 6,000 years, the ceremony itself was interrupted. Every head in the court turned toward the sound. Nobles, dragons, even the stars seemed to pause. But it was Prince Caelian who turned first, and turned fastest of all. Across the vast and glittering hall, his sapphire eyes found her startled brown ones, and something ancient inside him, something older than memory, quietly and irrevocably recognized her at last. Then it happened. Light cracked across his wrist like breaking glass, and a sound rang out that no immortal in that court had ever heard before, the sound of destiny breaking. Gasps rippled through the galleries like wind through wheat. Elders went pale with alarm, and beside the prince, Lady Seris felt her carefully built future quietly begin to fall apart. Along the courtyard walls, the ancient dragons lifted their heads as one, ancient nostrils flaring at a tremor in the world's oldest magic, something even they had never felt before. Caelian stared down at his own wrist, at the place where certainty had lived his entire life, now empty. Then slowly, helplessly, he lifted his eyes back to find her again. Mortified, Elianne dropped into a hurried bow, cheeks burning, murmuring apologies to no one and everyone, desperate only to disappear before she understood what her small mistake had truly done.
The bond is broken. This has never happened, not once, in 6,000 years.
For 6,000 years, destiny had never once failed. Tonight, in front of thousands, it just had, and no one in that silent, breathless court understood what would happen next. Murmurs erupted through the courtyard like a rising storm, nobles turning to each other in disbelief, elders whispering of omens, as 6,000 years of certainty cracked open in a single breathless heartbeat.
If one prince may choose freely, what stops every alliance in this realm from unraveling by morning?
Guards moved quietly to escort the shaken prince from the dais, yet even as they led him away, Caelian's gaze lingered on the corridor archway, searching for a face he barely knew. An attendant rushed to Lady Seris's side, murmuring comfort as the noblewoman fought to keep her composure, her violet eyes glassy with a grief no ceremony could ever undo tonight. Meanwhile, Elianne fled the courtyard entirely, slipping through servant passageways back toward the only place that had ever truly felt safe to her, the quiet, dust-scented sanctuary of the Royal Archive. Towering shelves curved upward into shadow, floating orbs of golden light drifting near the ceiling, the scent of old parchment thick in the still air. This had always been Elianne's entire world. She pressed trembling hands flat against her worn desk, trying to focus on the cracked spine before her, but the memory of sapphire eyes across a silent courtyard refused to fade. By nightfall, the Eternal Court's eldest council convened in emergency session, robes dark against flickering blue witchlight, every ancient face etched with the same unspoken question: what happens to them now?
The bond was never about the heart, my prince. It was built to keep peace where love alone could not be trusted. I did not choose this. I do not understand it. But I will not call a lie what my own heart refuses to accept.
Around the long crescent table, murmurs of fear rippled once more, as centuries-old allegiances forged through countless arranged unions suddenly felt terribly fragile, and no elder present could offer any certain path forward. Alone in his private chambers that night, Caelian removed his ceremonial coat and circlet, the trappings of his title falling away to reveal simply a man, exhausted and utterly confused. He stood at the open window in a simple linen shirt, moonlight catching his silver hair, unable to stop thinking of a stranger's startled brown eyes across a shattered ceremony. By morning, Elianne had returned to her routine, bent over a water-damaged manuscript with careful hands, though her thoughts kept drifting back to a prince she was certain she'd never see again. Every book she restored told her a forgotten story worth saving, and in that quiet devotion to things the world had discarded, Elianne had built a small, contented life of her own. 3 days later, under the thin pretense of inspecting old treaties, Prince Caelian made his way alone toward the Royal Archive, telling himself this visit meant absolutely nothing at all. Elianne looked up from her worn desk and froze completely still, recognizing instantly the very man whose broken engagement mark had shattered an entire court's certainty just 3 short days before.
Forgive the intrusion. I believe we haven't been properly introduced. I am Caelian.
Elianne, Your Highness, I'm so sorry about the tray.
What could possibly deserve such care this late at night?
Every forgotten story deserves to be remembered, Your Highness, even the small ones.
He left without ceremony, but something in her simple answer lingered with him long after the archive doors closed, an honesty he realized he had never once encountered at court. The following week, Elianne arrived at her desk to find her cracked reading lamp mysteriously replaced with a beautiful new one, its glass etched delicately with tiny, unfamiliar silver constellations. No one working in the archive claimed to know who had quietly ordered the replacement, and the mystery of it settled into Elianne's chest like a small, curious, unexpected warmth. Days later, her favorite tea arrived unannounced at her desk, the exact rare blend that always helped her concentrate, one she had never once mentioned to anyone at the palace. She asked every steward and servant she passed, but each one only smiled politely and claimed complete ignorance, leaving her more certain than ever that someone was quietly watching over her. Late one evening, while Elianne slept in her own quarters, Caelian returned quietly to the archive alone, laying gentle hands over a ruined manuscript and letting old magic mend it. The next morning, Elianne discovered the manuscript she had labored over for many months, restored to flawless perfection overnight, its ancient ink glowing faintly as if freshly and lovingly written. A wild, impossible thought crossed her mind that the prince himself might be responsible, before she quickly dismissed it as something far too foolish for a girl like her to believe. Word of the prince's frequent visits to the archive eventually reached Lady Seris, and something cold and unfamiliar bloomed quietly in her chest, the first true jealousy she had ever felt.
Tell me honestly, is it true what they're saying about the archivist?
I don't fully understand it myself, Seris, but I won't lie to you.
From a distant palace window, Caelian watched Elianne cross the courtyard below, torn between the life destiny had built for him and a feeling he could no longer deny existed. In the weeks that followed, Caelian's visits to the archive became less of a pretense and more a quiet ritual neither of them dared name, comfortable silence blooming slowly between them. One quiet afternoon, Prince Caelian arrived carrying a rare, leather-bound volume he had personally requested from the deepest palace vaults, simply because he remembered her mentioning it once, in passing conversation.
Do you always speak like you're addressing a court?
Only when I'm nervous, apparently.
For a fleeting instant, the weight of crowns and covenants disappeared entirely, replaced only by two people laughing together in golden lamplight, utterly unaware of what waited beyond those walls. Elsewhere, murmurs among the eldest council members grew sharper, as Caelian's increasingly frequent absences from court duties became impossible for even his most devoted supporters to ignore or explain away.
I don't even know anymore what exactly it is I'm grieving, Aunt Ophira.
I know, my dear, I know.
You were chosen by destiny itself, child. Do not surrender that so easily.
And if destiny was simply wrong, Aunt, what then?
But Seris shook her head slowly, refusing to become bitter or vengeful, quietly explaining that dignity mattered more to her than clinging desperately to a love that had never truly chosen her.
There's somewhere I'd like to show you, if you'll allow it.
I'd like that very much, Your Highness.
They walked together through quiet, moonlit corridors, an easy silence settling comfortably between them, the rare kind two people share only once genuine trust has slowly begun to take root. They arrived at last before a vast domed greenhouse glowing softly from within, luminous fey flora casting gentle blue and violet light through the glass, utterly unlike anything Elianne had seen. Stepping inside, Elianne gasped softly at towering, flowering trees glowing gently in the darkness, reaching out to touch one delicate, luminous blossom with the same careful reverence she gave old books. Caelian led her gently toward a quiet, shadowed corner of the greenhouse, where a single small clay pot sat apart from all the vibrant blossoms, holding one flower that had never opened. Elianne knelt beside the small clay pot, studying the wilted gray-silver petals with genuine tenderness, murmuring softly that even in its silence, the flower seemed quietly, achingly beautiful to her. Elianne tilted her head, genuinely curious, asking why he continued tending faithfully to a flower that had refused to bloom for what must surely have been centuries of quiet devotion. Caelian smiled softly, something quietly vulnerable crossing his regal features, before answering with words far simpler and more honest than anything the entire court had ever once heard him speak. Without a single word, Elianne knelt down beside him in the dirt, her shoulder brushing his, both of them quietly tending something small the world had long since forgotten to notice. Neither of them noticed at first the small gray-silver petals trembling gently, unfurling slowly open for the first time in 400 years, as something quietly magical answered their shared tenderness. Elianne gasped, pressing trembling fingers to her lips, while Caelian stared at the newly bloomed flower, in genuine astonishment, wondering silently what exactly had just quietly changed between the two of them. Their hands rested inches apart in the soft, dark soil, neither quite daring to close that small remaining distance, though both felt it, achingly, like a held breath neither wanted to release. Caelian was the first to gently pull his hand back, offering her a quiet, respectful smile instead, understanding instinctively that whatever this was deserved patience, not haste, and certainly no rushing. Elianne glanced reluctantly toward the darkening sky beyond the glass dome above, reminding him softly that the archive's night steward would soon begin locking the doors for the evening curfew. Caelian walked her partway back through the quiet moonlit corridors in comfortable silence, watching afterward from a careful distance as she disappeared inside, a small, unfamiliar smile lingering on his lips. Rumors soon reached the council chamber that dormant magic had stirred inside the royal greenhouse itself, a phenomenon so rare that even the eldest advisors struggled to explain its true meaning. The Archmagister felt the shift himself, an ancient tremor of sincere magic he hadn't sensed in centuries, and he wondered gravely what such powerful, unguarded feeling might mean for the entire realm. Word of the blooming flower reached Lady Seris through careless palace gossip, and something inside her quietly broke all over again, grief settling deeper than jealousy ever could have reached. Alone in her sitting room that night, Seris allowed herself to weep quietly, mourning not the prince himself, but the comforting certainty she had trusted completely her entire life until now. Meanwhile, Caelian stood once more at his window overlooking the sleeping palace grounds, torn painfully between the weight of ancient duty and a feeling that only grew stronger with each passing day. By dawn, the eldest council members reached a grave decision together, resolving to summon Prince Caelian formally before them and demand he finally choose between duty and this dangerous, growing feeling. A formal summons was sealed with ancient wax and sent quietly to the prince's private chambers that same night, the entire fate of two hearts now hanging delicately in the balance. That same night, Caelian broke the glowing wax seal on his formal summons, reading the council's carefully measured words with a growing dread he recognized instantly as the shape of an ultimatum. He folded the parchment slowly, jaw set with quiet resolve, understanding that whatever waited inside that council chamber would demand an answer he could no longer avoid giving. Caelian entered the council chamber in full formal dress, standing tall before the crescent table, refusing to let a single flicker of uncertainty show on his composed, regal face.
Renounce this feeling publicly, my prince, or risk everything our covenant was built to protect. 3 kingdoms already question our word, my prince. Your choice tonight decides whether they trust us again.
Caelian closed his eyes briefly under the visible weight of the choice before him, torn painfully between everything he owed his kingdom and everything his own heart now refused to deny.
You must renounce her.
What exactly happens if I refuse to renounce her?
The girl would be reassigned far from here, my prince, quietly, permanently, for the realm's sake.
Caelian's hands gripped the table's edge until his knuckles paled, a cold fury rising beneath his composed exterior at the casual cruelty hidden inside the elder's calm, measured threat.
Punishing her proves nothing, except that we fear kindness more than we claim to fear chaos.
A heavy silence settled over the chamber, the elders visibly unsettled that the very woman destiny had chosen now stood defending the girl who had unknowingly replaced her.
You have until dawn, my prince. Choose carefully, for both your sakes.
They mean to send you away, Elianne. Because of the prince, I thought you should know.
Elianne decided quietly, without hesitation, that she would leave the palace herself before her presence could cost Caelian anything more precious than she was ever worth risking. By the soft glow of the lamp he had once quietly given her, Elianne packed only what little she truly needed, her movements slow, deliberate, and quietly heartbroken. She left a brief folded note beneath the manuscript he had secretly restored, her fingers lingering there one final moment before she forced herself to walk away. Elianne walked alone toward the palace's outer gates, beneath an oddly darkening sky, wind rising strangely around her, as though the very realm itself sensed her quiet heartbreak. Caelian rushed straight to the archive after leaving the council, only to find her desk empty and cold, panic rising sharply in his chest at her sudden absence. He found her folded note beneath the manuscript, reading her quiet, selfless words giving him back his freedom, and felt something inside his chest break open completely. Caelian tore through the moonlit palace corridors at a dead sprint, coat flying open behind him, abandoning every last shred of royal composure in desperate pursuit of her. Outside the palace gates, the sky churned violently, with dark storm clouds shot through with faint violet magic, the ancient realm itself visibly reacting to two hearts breaking apart. Caelian burst through the gates just as her small figure began disappearing into the storm-darkened road beyond, wind tearing at them both beneath the churning violet sky.
Elianne! Please wait! Don't do this because of me!
Elianne turned slowly, eyes wide with disbelief, and for one long, breathless moment, the two of them simply stood there, separated only by wind and storm-swept distance.
I won't let them choose fear over you, not anymore, not ever again.
Delicate silver droplets began falling gently from the churning sky, glowing softly wherever they landed, as shared grief finally gave way to something warmer, something dangerously close to hope. He closed the final distance between them beneath the softly glowing silver rain, standing close enough now to see every flicker of uncertain hope in her glistening eyes.
I don't need a covenant to tell me who to love. I already know it's you.
High above them, the clearing storm clouds parted to reveal stars quietly rearranging themselves into patterns that had never once existed before, answering their genuine confession with ancient magic. Inside the council chamber, the Archmagister's staff blazed suddenly bright, as ancient magic surged through the entire realm, and for the first time in centuries, he felt truly, deeply afraid. Across the entire kingdom, ancient dragons rose fully onto their haunches, wings unfurling, gold eyes blazing bright as the surge of genuine love rippled outward through every corner of the realm. Inside the council chamber, elders rose in genuine alarm, staring through windows now blazing with impossible starlight, none of them able to explain what ancient force had suddenly awakened. Lady Seris felt the surge from her own window, watching the glowing sky with quiet stillness, understanding somehow, before anyone explained it, exactly what this magic truly meant. Seris made her choice quietly, deciding to meet whatever came next with dignity rather than bitterness, gathering her cloak and walking toward the courtyard with steady, deliberate purpose. Hand in hand, Caelian and Elianne walked back through the palace gates together, no longer hiding, no longer afraid, ready together to face whatever awaited them inside. They stepped into the courtyard together, the anxious murmuring crowd falling into sudden silence, every noble and elder turning to watch the prince return with the archivist's assistant.
Do you understand what you've done? The old magic itself is answering you.
This is not rebellion. This is simply the first honest choice I've ever made.
Restore the old order now, or watch everything our ancestors built collapse by morning.
To the astonishment of the entire court, Lady Seris stepped forward from the crowd, the very woman Destiny had chosen now walking calmly toward the center of it all.
Destiny chose me, but his heart chose her. Only one of those was ever truly love.
As her words settled over the silent court, golden white magical light began spreading visibly across the ancient stones, as though the enchantment itself were finally listening closely. One by one, the ancient dragons lowered their massive heads toward the dais in solemn recognition, a gesture no living soul present had ever once witnessed them offer before. Then, in one brilliant burst, the ancient heart bond enchantment shattered across the entire kingdom at once, 6,000 years of magically enforced devotion dissolving into falling golden light. The Archmagister lowered his staff slowly, dawning realization settling over his ancient features, as he finally understood that the enchantment itself had chosen this ending willingly.
The bond is dissolved, not broken by rebellion, but released by love truly, freely chosen.
Instead of chaos, quiet wonder swept gently through the crowd, nobles reaching for each other's hands, every face tilted upward toward a future none of them had ever imagined possible. Lady Ophira pulled her niece into a warm, gentle embrace, and Seris finally allowed herself to feel not loss, but quiet, unexpected peace with everything that had happened tonight. Amid the soft celebration surrounding them, Caelian and Elianne found one private, quiet moment together, foreheads gently touching, the entire noisy world fading into comfortable silence. Their lips finally met in a slow, gentle kiss, golden light shimmering softly around them, sealing quietly everything 6,000 years of ancient law had never truly allowed. Across the ancient courtyard, dormant vines burst suddenly into countless small white blossoms, the realm itself responding gently to the truest, most sincere magic it had ever witnessed. In the seasons that followed, every Fae child born into the realm grew up knowing something no generation before them ever had, the simple freedom to choose who to love. Caelian and Elianne sat together quietly beside the reflection pool, hands intertwined, no longer a prince and a servant, but simply two people who had chosen each other. And so the prince, who was never allowed to be loved, finally learned the truth. Real love was never a law to obey, but a quiet, courageous choice worth making.